one of the worst ideas I have ever heard in the Need for Speed community is from a small group that apparently thinks it would be a great idea for every car in a Need for Speed game to have equal performance across the board. Some of them include handling models in performance as well, so we are going to include that in this video as well. If you were to look up YAP in the dictionary, it would 100% have each of these people's names listed under the word, because there is nothing that makes sense in any way. Who in their right mind would want to play a car game where a Bugatti handles and performs the exact same way as a Honda NSX? In what world would a car enthusiast want to race in an Eclipse and it performs exactly the same as a Pagani? Now, I know for some of you, or even majority of you, I don't have to explain why this is a terrible idea. But for the other side, maybe you want something like this to happen. Why? Who knows? I can't read minds. But the point of this video is to break down why this would probably be one of the worst things for every Need for Speed game going forward to do. If you all enjoy, make sure to hit the like button and drop a sub on the channel. We are getting close to the 600 and I can see 100k on the horizon coming soon. Also, make sure to drop a follow on the Twitch too. I do stream and want to interact with y'all live. The first thing I want to say is that the same people who say these types of things are also the same exact people who complain that Need for Speed isn't realistic enough. How does having every car, regardless of the engine it comes with, act the same in any way realistic? As far as I am concerned, a 2024 Honda Odyssey minivan is not moving in the same way as a 2024 Hennessy Venom GT in real life. This just leads to my point that people continue to move the goalposts when they realize that there are others better than them playing the same game. Suddenly the game wasn't realistic enough when it comes out that people can boost around turns and microdrift, but now it's too realistic where cars have different engines and players can swap engines like how people do in real life every single day. They don't want the game to be fair, they want the game to be made so that they can win all the time. A racing game where every car performs the exact same would lack the depth, variety, and excitement that makes the game and genre so engaging in the first place. Without differences in speed, handling, acceleration, and traction, each race would feel extremely repetitive, with little need for strategy or experimentation. I would put money on it that half the fun of Unbound is testing out new engines and seeing what they are capable of. There are a crazy amount of engines, and on top of that, you can make them naturally aspirated, have a turbo, dual turbo, a supercharger, anything. The ability to put a V8 in a small JDM car or put a Bugatti engine in a random BMW is one of the driving factors of building up enjoyment while playing this game. Engine swap options in Need for Speed bring a whole new layer of customization and personalization to the gameplay, making the game incredibly engaging for a wide range of players. By allowing players to swap engines between cars, the game essentially empowers them to transform how a vehicle performs, adding both performance and customization to cars that might otherwise have fixed limitations in real life. For example, a lower end lightweight car could be fitted with a powerful engine, giving players the thrill of outmaneuvering higher end vehicles with a more creative setup. When every car performs identical, that strategic layer vanishes, making it feel like players are racing with skins rather than actual unique vehicles. And it doesn't even have to be about just the engine performance either. It's important to recognize that each car represents not just a set of stats, but an experience uniquely tailored to different players' preferences and personalities. What about the people who truly enjoy muscle cars and how they handle? If they wanted to drive something that is lighter and doesn't spin the wheels, then they would have chosen something like that. What about the people who love to race in agile supercars, where they feel the insane sense of speed and cut around corners? Everyone has their own favorite cars and preferences, and by having a variety of cars, games let players choose a car that feels like an extension of their own personality and driving style. What if one day somebody wants to drive a heavy, high torque truck that's a bit harder to control, and another day they want to drive a Porsche GT3 RS? But if both of those cars feel the exact same, then what is the point? Being in the car is simply not enough if it doesn't even feel like the thing you're supposed to be driving. The next thing is competition, and that's the reason why I think a lot of people want every car to act the same way. What people need to accept is that there will always be someone who is better than them at something. Having every single car have the exact same performance will not stop that, because other players are going to drive better than you, take turns better than you, think differently than you, and take more risk they are willing to make for a victory that you're not willing to make. Every car in the game could act like the Lamborghini Urus and people would still get dog walked. Racing against other players who bring different cars to the track creates a real sense of competition. You're not just racing against other people, you're racing against other builds. I know that some people are probably thinking about meta builds and things like that, but what you all may fail to realize is that if this were to take place, it would affect you guys too. Everyone who is against meta usage wants people to use different cars because all they see is the same cars. So wouldn't making everyone use the same car completely deviate from the entire point you guys are trying to make? People cry that there is no diversity in Unbound, yet every car they want to perform the same. When you load up in a PvP lobby and see someone in a car nobody ever uses, it makes you think about what build they could possibly have. When people get beaten by random cars, they ask all the time what build that guy has. But if every car acted the same way, then guess what? That sense of unpredictability with competition goes out the window. I know everybody didn't really like the way that Unbound handled card challenges, but let me ask you all something. It did feel good when you finally completed that challenge and got the car you wanted, right? When you were finally able to customize it, add your own engine to it, additional parts, and then take it out the garage to drive it, it felt amazing, right? Now, what if that car you tried for a while to get felt exactly like the starter car you got in the beginning of the game? Then what is the point of grinding out any car in the first place, right? A broad spectrum of cars with varying performance levels can enhance a game's career mode and progression system. When you first start off in Need for Speed, you start with a basic car with pretty much no upgrades. But as you keep playing and work your way up, you unlock faster and better performing cars and parts. Having every car be the same isn't just affecting racing between players, it is affecting the way a game can progress in general. What would players grind money for? Parts? Those wouldn't matter if all the cars act the same. Would they grind money for engines? Why? Each engine has the exact same horsepower and torque. See what I'm saying? This concept destroys Need for Speed, and it would have removed the motivation for a lot of people to continue playing. But how do you all feel about this topic? Based on what was said in the video, I'm sure you guys can tell I feel pretty strongly about this, but it also matters how you guys, the community, think as well. If you enjoyed, make sure to drop a like, subscribe, and I will see you all in the next video.